Aloha, folks. Well, we are finally off of Oahu Island. We are now on the big island, officially called the island of Hawaii, for which the state of Hawaii is named. And already, I feel lighter, more at peace. You don't hear the typical Waikiki, Honolulu sounds of tourists screaming on the beach, or cars racing by, buses passing you. This is a much quieter island. It's a lot wetter, as you can see, a little more lush than Oahu, or at least the leeward part of Oahu, which is a lot drier, doesn't get as much rainfall. But here, where we are, this is one of the wettest places in America. But that's only good because we see lush vegetation sprouting from the ground. We see plenty of water, the Wailoa River, calm as ever, birds chirping in the air. This is the true Hawaii. Nothing like an urban area. We are in one of the principal towns, but this is no Honolulu. So I welcome you to Big Island, the largest island, the southeasternmost island. This is an island roughly the size of Connecticut. So if you want to travel here, well, you got to make sure you do some next level planning, because this is a large island. It takes many, many hours. It takes a whole day to travel the course of the perimeter of the island. It's a big, big island. It's called Big Island for a reason. But we are still on Hawaii. Hawaiian culture still remains here, probably ever more present than on Oahu. Let's just take it all in. So where is our first stop as we begin the next part of our adventures here in the Aloha state on our Aloha tour? What's that debut into Big Island? Well, I could definitely say this. There are two principal gateway destinations if you ever want to take a trip to the Big Island. There's Kona, which is designed for that resort utopian type of tourism with pristine beaches and lots of hotels and restaurants and accommodations catered for the package tourist that never leaves the area. But if you're like me and you want a bit more of an adventure, if you want something more off the beaten path, you'll come to Hilo, Hawaii. Not only is it the oldest, arguably, city in Hawaii, and I'll explain why that's arguable and kind of weird to say it's definitively the oldest, but history kind of tells us that this is the oldest place settled, continuously settled in Hawaii. Not only is it that, but the pace of life is a lot slower here. Unlike big city Honolulu, you're gonna find that here in Hilo, Hawaii, it represents a more authentic picture of everyday life in Hawaii. There was someone I was sitting next to on a flight, and she told me that Hilo was almost like what most of Hawaii was before the post-World War II tourism boom that turned Hawaii into a very exotic, remote location with a couple outposts here and there along these islands into a world-class tourist destination. You'll find that the slow pace of life here in Hilo is a good thing for both people in our relaxing atmosphere and also everything else, the animals, the birds, the trees, the plants. Isn't this what Hawaii is supposed to be like? Isn't this more of the getaway you'd like, rather than condo after condo after condo after hotel after big 5-star restaurant after... Yeah, that's what you're gonna find over there. Here it's a little bit different, and it's great. This truly embodies the Aloha spirit, where you can, I guess, settle down. You don't have to have a regimented itinerary, as I'm learning. You just go with the flow and you learn to enjoy each day as it comes. No, I wouldn't say this is the place that time forgot. Hawaii definitely has influences from the modern day and age. It's not like the Hilo Island, which is completely off limits, forbidden to tourists, and you have to get a personal invite from the private island's owners to grant yourself access to, I guess, the time capsule that island is. That's a great story, Ni'ihau. So yeah, let's see what we can discover here on the coverage project. You and I, as we debut onto Big Island and understand Hilo, Hawaii, the little town which represents a more authentic picture of the Aloha state. Archaeological findings here in Hawaii suggest that around 1100, around more than 900 years ago, the first Polynesian seafarers came to Hawaii and settled Big Island. Now yes, these were excellent seafarers with great navigating knowledge and lots of maritime technology. It's one of the great mysteries of the world how the Polynesians came to this remote island with kind of little more than Stone Age technology and a knowledge of the open ocean. A huge swath of oceanic territory settled and discovered by these Polynesian people. After hundreds and thousands of years of essentially being one with the ocean, either right on the coast of a big landmass or on remote islands, it's no surprise that the traditions of seafaring have carried over to the modern day. And what we see here today is kind of a remnant of that. All these cars parked behind us, all those people on the beach, all the applause and cheering for their favorite canoe teams. This is what happens, from what I'm told, about every weekend. All around Big Island, teams of canoe rowers will assemble here on the shores of Hilo Bay to partake in a canoeing competition. And I think this is a great thing to supplement the revitalization of this vibrant Hawaiian culture. Because the ancient Hawaiians, they knew their way around water. Why not teach avid young canoers how to maneuver their way around the water as well, in a fun spirit of competition? Beautiful trees all around us, from interesting wide spread out branches upon these trees that look, you know, like they could fit on the mainland and camouflage themselves among the other species too. Well, these are obviously ostensibly tropical palms. A wide assortment of flora here on the big island. Honestly, probably the best trees under which to have a picnic. These leaves cover a wide circle around you. These trees have your back here in Hilo. Now this is just a general park area. It's a beautiful area, but this doesn't really capture the essence of a slower than life pace. You could see this in any big city if a city managed to set aside parkland. So we really gotta go to the downtown, because when I say Hilo represents a pre-World War II Hawaii in atmosphere, we really have to see the downtown to understand what I mean by that. So let's head on over there. Hi, I would love one of those $12 coconuts.
However,
that one look good to you? Wonderful.
They actually are like a boba tea. It's a fiber and it's
Oh, yeah, my workout in today.
Yeah, that's definitely something.
Omega fatty acids, which are really important for us to get. If you're not
12?
going to get enough fat or protein or this and that,
I think it's fair for this.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yes.
Like honestly, I don't know the prices. I'm gonna trust you on that. So here's a 20.
Okay. Yeah, look at you. Can you imagine? I'm just holding that in my hand.
Oh my goodness, that is a workout.
Protein,
No way.
high
That's...
fiber, they are low glycemic.
Okay, this is really heavy. Lots of coconut water inside this fruit. So I'm gonna take a seat and we're gonna drink some coconut water. I swear guys, this is so much coconut water. I've spent like 5-10 minutes sipping periodically, and it still feels just as heavy as when I first got that. So, might take a while, but yeah, here's to Hawaii's finest coconuts. Succulent, delicious. Apple mango, yes, one of them.
What's up?
Well, given that Hilo is probably the rainiest city short of any city in Alaska, but well more than any city on the mainland, it's no surprise it's raining right now, and at least it's not a complete thunderstorm of great magnitude. At least it's sort of kind of drizzle storm, which is tolerable. But as you can tell, the character and shape and structure of this town, Hilo, there's no skyscrapers anywhere, there's no modern buildings. A lot of these buildings have lots of history dating back to the early 20th century, maybe even earlier. This coast of Hawai'i Island was originally used as a plantation zone. Lots of sugar plantations dotted the coast well into the interior. Up until the 1990s, the sugar plantations found here were the backbone of the Hawai'i Island economy. It built and developed Hilo as a center for the sale and commerce associated with these sugar plantations. Well, the rain is not stopping anytime soon that I can foresee. The weather is just so unpredictable in Hilo. Well, predictable in how much rain you're gonna get on a given day. But I think it's a good time to take a break and snack on something I got at this farmer's market, an apple mango, tropical fruit, one of many tropical fruits you can find in Hawaii. So I got this at the farmer's market, and I'll just see how it tastes. Now this is truly a wet and juicy fruit, if I've ever seen one. It's nice to know that it is no longer raining. For now. Let's just take the time we have where it's dry and make the most of it. So, I've deviated off course. We're no longer really in the downtown area, but that is truly a good thing because you can see Hawaii's true natural beauty when you're outside of the city limits. Birds a chirping, leaves a waving. Really makes you think, man, is it all that cracked up to be when you live in a big city, when you're so far removed from nature's pleasant greetings to you? Being in the tropics, trees and shrubs and all sorts of flora are much different than the rest of the US. Huge leaves, fern-like, dominate the area. And when these frond-like leaves aren't in front of you, that's okay, because there are other broadleaf trees that just truly impress one who's never really been to the tropics. Yeah, these plants truly pop out right at you, almost as if you're time traveling way back before humanity to the Jurassic era when everything was much larger. Simple idea, I guess. More rain, more precipitation equals larger vegetation. Now, the interesting thing about Big Island, it is not one uniform climate. Depending on how much rainfall there is, the biome, the ecosystem, the climate could all change drastically from what we see here on the eastern side of the island, pretty much tropical rainforest. But on the eastern side, it could be just a complete desert. And all you see are little shrubs, anything that could withstand low precipitation. Look at that, a giant waterfall. This is Rainbow Falls, everyone. This is just beautiful, a beautiful display of the waterworks here, naturally formed on the island of Hawaii, Big Island. Not too far away from Hilo. As you saw, I could walk here from downtown. Took maybe 20-30 minutes, but you can easily get there, and this is definitely a must-see if you're at least spending one full day in Hilo, Hawaii. Well, I'll say there is nothing like being sheltered from these Hawaiian rains by this enchanting tropical forest. Look at how big that tree up ahead is. We gotta take a look at that. All these wispy limbs and branches coming off the main trunk. This is nothing short of spectacular. If only this tree could talk. Oh, the stories it could tell from what I'm assuming the years and years and years it's lived to create itself as this monster. Well, I also gotta say this now. You folks who think you're living it up on the shores of Waikiki Beach in Honolulu, and not even considering a departure to another island or even another town, oh, you're missing out. Because this is true paradise in my book. Talk about rain and water and precipitation and moisture. After 50 states of saying, rain will not deter us, that's become, I guess, like a catchphrase here on this channel. This is our final test in one of the most rainy cities in all of America. Now you'd think that Hilo, Hawaii, is a town that already gets enough rain and water from the sky above. The rains are just inseparable from the idea of this as a town itself. There's more! Yeah, there's more to come. Sadly enough, this coast of Hawaii is very, very susceptible to tsunami activity. Earthquakes, such as the very famous one, the 9.5 magnitude one in Chile of 1960. Not only was that devastating to the country of Chile on the other side, on the coast of South America, but its resultant forces caused a devastating tsunami to happen to Hilo, thousands of miles away. Water is very, very powerful. Around 60 people lost their lives to this event. I've heard different sources say 59 to 61, so I'm gonna just round it at an even middle ground, 60 people. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that tsunami wasn't even the most devastating. Another cataclysmic tsunami struck Hilo in 1946, and 160 people was the official toll. Tsunamis are very powerful. They can be very, very damaging to the infrastructure, the structure of society when people lose their lives. Everyone knows someone who has suffered a loss somehow. So yeah, 20th century, not a great century for the locals and residents here to deal with tsunamis. Do you notice the lack of high-rise hotel skyscrapers? Do you notice the minimal traffic of people carrying surfboards and pool floaties and all that? Do you notice the buildings looking a lot more old-fashioned? Maybe some are single-panel buildings, some with more ornate designs from the early 20th century. I noticed those things too. This is the authentic nature of Hilo, Hawaii. A more laid-back atmosphere. And it's wonderful for those people who want to venture to a place less traveled. At least relatively less traveled than the beaches of Waikiki. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just really happy to be here in Hilo and to feel like I've truly finally entered the real Hawaii, not some utopian fantasy world, but truly a down-to-earth Hawaii. I think I'm finally ready to embrace the Aloha spirit and truly wear it on my body. Oh yeah, I am blended in, camouflaged, and I am now indistinguishable from your standard package tourist. However, don't get it twisted. That does not mean I have become one with the package tourist. We are doing our own thing on the coverage project. We are by far trying to be as opposite from a package tourist as we can. But at this point, you can't tell that we're on an adventure because I'm just dressed in such a typically touristic way. Anyway, what do you guys think? I think the blue on this shirt really complements the red of my sunburn. Yeah, that's right. Look at this sunset, it's amazing. Take a look at what's in front of us. This is the Great Hilo Bay, just from another angle. Beginning the day, we walked somewhere over there in the distance, and now we're on another part. Still just as beautiful. Still ever thankful to be here in Hawaii. Goodness gracious, it's beginning to rain again and again and again and again. Okay, we have to find a nice shelter from this rain. It's nice to be on the coast right here, but I gotta take us inland. Wow, how fortunate are we to be under these gigantic tropical trees which hover above the land and protect us from the rain. We have been blessed by these great trees. How fortunate are we? These have been our savior today. Between the waterfall and now here, yeah, not bad. It just starts and stops and starts and stops. It's not raining heavily anymore. It seems like it goes in 30-second, 2-minute, 3-minute spurts, and then it's done. And then it surprises you again with another short-term spurt, and you don't know when it's gonna end. Your weather app on your phone will not give you any good information. Seems like this Hilo rain truly defies our technological capabilities as people, and it just goes as it pleases. If I want to eat on the coast, I am going to eat on the coast. Sunburns and wet clothes are temporary. 50-state adventures are forever. Anyway, let's find a spot to camp out right here. And I want to show you what's in this bag. I give credit to all the vegetarians and vegans out there because in Hawaii, it is near impossible to enjoy yourself without eating this. This is one example of a Hawaiian plate lunch. A special one, invented right here on Big Island, here in Hilo. This is the Loco Moco. And as you can see, it's full of all sorts of messy items. We got rice, we got some kind of meat. I'm pretty sure this is like hamburger meat, onions, and some over easy eggs. How about that? That is not a meal, that is a feast. Loco Moco, only the best, coming from Hilo, Hawaii. I forgot to mention the best part. Do you see this brown sauce over the rice and the patties? That is gravy. This item, the Loco Moco, is probably the most garbage plate-esque thing I've found outside of Rochester. Now if you remember Rochester, garbage plates, just a bunch of loose items, potatoes, meat, macaroni, all in one big tray, and this just seems very similar. And I guess my New York State bias is showing because that's the first thing I think of a garbage plate and I compare all other things to it, but my goodness, this is probably the best, most Hawaiian version of a garbage plate I have seen. You guys, just how delicious this is going to be, I haven't even tried it, and yet you sort of can tell with these items that they're gonna be good. That is the stuff. That is the stuff right there. Loco Moco. Hilo, Hawaii is essentially the administrative center, the seat of government for the Big Island. It is not only that though, it is Hawaii as a whole, not just the Hawai'i Island, but all of the state of Hawaii's oldest city. Remember at the beginning of today when I said it's kind of debatable, kind of an arguable claim to have this in Hawaii as the oldest city, although we generally agree that Hilo is probably the city with the most history in Hawaii, it's kind of wishy-washy because compared to the mainland where they have these like Euro-American decrees of establishment of a city, you know, and thus in the year blah blah blah, henceforth the city shall be erected into eternal glory, you know, that type of thing. Hawaii's not like that. It has a long and treasured history of oral history rather than written, scripted history. For generations, the ancient Hawaiians passed down their history by word of mouth. And because of that, when you go back centuries to the day of first establishment upon this island, it's hard to determine whether it's a legend or whether it's actual fact at a certain date at which this is established. You know what I mean though? It's very, very difficult to track when things aren't really written down. And that's one of the big dilemmas of anthropology and archaeology. Scholars do love when something is written down as a primary source, but I'm no professional, I'm no scholar. I'm just saying that because I think it's a fun point to make here, as we are in the land where oral history has reigned supreme for most of its history. Well, I'm gonna finish my Loco Moco and enjoy what's left of the fading daylight we have here on the coast of Big Island. Twilight, dusk, whatever you want to call it, it's a beautiful time of the daylight cycle. And it's great that we get these serene waves on the coast to add to the auditory ambiance. Yeah, a great place to end the day off here in Hilo. What an adventure we had. Do you guys prefer Hilo or Big Island over Honolulu or Oahu? Some people love Oahu and Waikiki Beach and all those attractions, but to me, I really found a special place in my heart for Hilo, Hawaii. So with that said, about to enjoy what remains of that feast with a great view of the Hilo Bay in front of us. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.